Oh no, we're live now. Yeah.
We're live.
We're live now. Now I've got my one button on the on my touchpad, which really kind of sticks. So you have to kind of make sure that you're paying attention to what's actually happening. Hello there. Welcome to. Now this is where we have to make a little slight change. Let me restart that. Hello there, and welcome to Talking Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. Yes, we've got a slight name change as we come back to a fresh run of these Sundays hangouts, because we want to try and get more people watching and listening on YouTube and on iPlayer. On iTunes. iPlayer? We're not that big yet. Basically, we are now calling ourselves Talking Comic-Con, a cup of tea, purely because that's what we want to try and get the Talking Comic-Con front and center, so people can join us on a Sunday. This is a weekly hangout where we talk San Diego Comic-Con. If it's the first time you've seen one of these, go back and look at the rest of them, because we have some pretty good chats on the archive. But this is a soft open to this final stretch as we head headlong towards San Diego Comic-Con 2015. We have got 11 of these to go between now and San Diego. And if that doesn't scare you a little bit, then it really should do, because quite frankly, 11 is not a great deal. We're talking 2.5 months. It'll be gone in a blink of an eye. So this, like I say, only is it's a soft open. Next week is when things really kind of hot up for these hangouts, when we really start getting into the meat and gravy of what we're going to see at San Diego. But it's been a busy couple of weeks. And to talk about those 2 weeks while we've been away, it's just myself, Leonard Sultana, and Alyssa Franks, who's joining us. Hello, Alyssa. How are you?
Good morning. 11 weeks.
I know.
I did not realize that, and I know it's going to be a busy con season, because everything is the spring cons that have happened have been phenomenal. I've been hearing amazing reports from Star Wars and C2E2, and WonderCon was great. You guys all saw the WonderCon that we just did, the episode. But 11 weeks.
That's the kind of fact which makes you just kind of take a moment of breath, and so like, whoa, yeah, I know. Yeah, as always, what we are doing is an interactive hangout each and every Sunday. This is a round table affair. Over the next 11 weeks, or certainly the next 10 episodes after this one, we're going to be having a number of guests on. We're going to be having a number of bloggers who are going to be taking part. It's a round table. It's you as well, interacting with us, watching live. We've got a number of viewers. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Jump in on the Q&A on the Google Plus event. Let's talk about what you want to talk about. Is there anything over the last couple of weeks that have jumped out at you? What do you think is going to be at Comic-Con this year? Is there anything that you'd like to see at Comic-Con, but you kind of think that maybe it's not going to happen? Who knows? Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of theories myself, especially off like I say, as Alyssa has said, the massive couple of events that have happened over the 2 weeks we've been away. Hopefully you did see the WonderCon event as well, the WonderCon hangout that we did with Alyssa giving us a fantastic live report. Now, the thing that it was a brilliant episode. I really enjoyed watching you do that wander around, and I then thought, great, I have a rough idea of the geography of Anaheim now, and in 2016 I can go to WonderCon, I can know where everything is. At which point, they will. Yeah, at which point, literally hours after we posted that hangout, there was the talkback panel. Did you manage to go to the talkback at all? Because I know that you said you were thinking of going.
I went to the talkback, and I am trying to get that on air. I actually recorded a bunch of it.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to see that, because one thing I'm hopefully going to be doing a lot of at San Diego is a lot of periscoping with live broadcasting of bits and pieces and panels. And I really wanted to see what the talkback was like. I don't know if I'll be able to do broadcast from the talkback at San Diego. I might get told off a bit for that, but who knows? So what was talked about at the talkback, as well as next year's plans?
You can certainly record it, which is what I did. And you would probably be a lot more timely in getting it up on the air than me. Regardless, it was very informative seeing the body language of John and David, who actually came to the talkback panel. The two major topics were the moving to LA for WonderCon, and the hotels in San Diego, and whether or not they'd be staying in San Diego, and going on about the hotels. There's been two major threads in the forum about that. With regards to the move, it really seemed, from what they were saying, is that Anaheim was not able to provide the panel space, be it the arena or the panels upstairs, to produce WonderCon. So they had to go someplace else.
Is this during the building work they're doing? Because I know they're doing a large expansion over the next couple of years, and I know the main body of that is happening over the next 12 months. Is that the kind of what they're trying to? Well, is that what they're avoiding by moving to LA for? So far, just the 1 year. Right.
Well, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of speculation about whether or not that's going to be 1 year or not. Regardless, the motivation to move, they seemed really happy with Anaheim. They seemed in a brief private on the way to the talkback panel that I was able to get with David. He really seemed as though they were sorry to have to move to LA, because they don't want the production. They've just gotten it nailed down at WonderCon, and now they have to redo all of the lines and the planning for it all.
Sure.
So, that was important he felt that was very important to get out to people, and who knows whether or not they're going to stay.
I mean, for people who don't know the history of WonderCon, I mean, it started in San Francisco and moved to Anaheim, I believe, 2009. So it's only been there for 5, 6 years, but it's done such a great job of establishing itself. And certainly when I talk and think about WonderCon, the word Anaheim pretty much follows straight away when I think about it. But so it does kind of, the whole history of WonderCon does let you know that it is still a moving caravan thing. And while they have done their best to make WonderCon Anaheim and Anaheim its home, LA, certainly for 2016, is where we're going to be headed. I know that a lot of people have talked about LA and the move to LA, certainly not in a positive light either, because obviously it could be. I mean, I think when I saw the Hangout, the blog post that the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog did as the aftermath of WonderCon, they were talking about the various speculation about this being almost like a test drive to see if San Diego could move to LA. I don't think that's the case. I think it really is a separate event, and they are now just seeing and making sure that WonderCon is the best event that they can get. Obviously, however, people have been speculating whether WonderCon can even be a good home in LA. What has been the response on the forum?
Let me interrupt, please.
Go for it. What's been the response?
So can I just shout you down?
Go on, yes.
The problem with moving to LA and was brought up in the WonderCon Talkback panel, and how it was interesting to me how much David stressed the working to get hotel rooms cheaper. And it seems like it's such an odd thing to talk about when you're talking about moving this whole monolith of Comic-Con to LA. But the reality is that if you start pricing hotel rooms at the $500-600 range for the average con goer, if you move it into that range, the clientele, the attendees, it changes, and you start removing all of the families and the people, the avid fans, the fanatics who will sleep out overnight, and those kinds of things. So if LA is able to provide the cheaper hotel rooms, that would be one reason why they would, I think CCI would eventually consider moving San Diego Comic-Con. Of course, there is the San Diego part, which is all encompassing. And I think that would be a huge thing. And a number of people have said on the forum, to get back to your question, it's never going to move.
Yeah.
It's never going to move. It's part of San Diego. And as long as San Diego management works with Comic-Con for hotel rooms and space and accommodations, it's going to be in San Diego. That's my hope. You know, and I know it sucks not being able to sell 200,000 tickets as opposed to only being able to sell 130,000 tickets, but that's the way it is.
No, it makes total sense. What else was highlights for WonderCon for yourself, and certainly with that move to LA and what LA can provide? I mean, what highlights for WonderCon were for you? Because you look like you're having such a great time.
My highlights are not the normal highlights because I don't go to the Hall H panels and all of that. I had two major highlights. One of them neither of them did I get on tape. One of them was when I went with my parents and I called my dad up. This was after thinking they were not having a good time. I called my dad up on Saturday and he said to me, "I can't talk now. I'm in a panel." Click.
Which panel was he in?
Oh, some Saturday morning cartoon panel. It didn't matter to them. They just walked into panels. Whatever was open, they walked in.
Brilliant.
I also saw the Masquerade. And I have to say that the guy that hosts the Masquerade, who also does it at Comic-Con San Diego, is brilliant. And the third thing would have to be the Neil Neil Adams was in a panel for Jack Kirby, and once he got on, I've never really seen Adams really
animated.
Neil Adams.
Yeah, when you've never seen him in full flight.
In full flight. And he was telling some stories about the early days and Jack Kirby and Stan Lee that were perhaps not quite flattering. It was brilliant. I was just kicking myself for not getting that on tape, because that 5-minute monologue that he did on a retrospective of Kirby was brilliant. And so those were my three highlights for WonderCon.
Fantastic.
Interestingly enough, I'm hearing some major things about C2E2.
Yes, I mean, that's taking place today, and indeed yesterday as well. Some major announcements, especially coming out of DC. DC and Image have both been very big players in this weekend's event. Obviously, I mean, for myself, I've been rather excited by the announcement that there's going to be a third volume of The Dark Knight. I know that a lot of people are. The second it got posted on a number of boards, it was just negative left, right, and center. But I'm excited. I mean, now this is where I'm really going to get shot down in flames. I'm a big fan of The Dark Knight Strikes Again. I think it's a bold comic. I think it's a bold graphic novel. So I'm looking forward to Dark Knight 3. Although the title, The Master Race, kind of gets me a little bit nervous, but it's Frank Miller.
Miller's right. So I haven't been keeping up with the announcements, but Miller is writing that.
It's Miller. It's Miller, and it's Brian I can never pronounce his surname. I'm never going to try it. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it was Brian that announced it at the C2E2 panel. Frank has apparently been sitting on it, ready to announce it. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they come up with. what else have you seen in the C2E2 stuff? I know that Ian O'Hara is watching. Hello, Ian. Thank you very much indeed. Apparently, he's wandering around at C2E2 at the moment and kind of watching this at the same time. What are you seeing, Ian? Let us know.
Yes, please. I'd love to. I mean, I've just been seeing what Brian, the PR guy, has been posting about it. I haven't really been diving into it. I've been trying to get some other stuff done. It just, I am making plans for a roommate to go to attend C2E2 next year. I think that's going to be my spring con next year.
Really?
I'm not sure, because Star Wars, if Star Wars 2016 was in April or May, I would be over there visiting you.
Now, okay, let's talk about that then. Let's talk about that. I mean, number one, I'm extremely excited that Star Wars Celebration is coming to London in 2016. I mean, of course I am. That's absolutely thrilling news. The timing is just so
brutal.
It's 1 week before the presumed date for San Diego Comic-Con 2016. It's the weekend before. Good Lord. Now, the question I've got to ask is, what are ReedPop thinking? And is it really that strategic that they are putting it that close to San Diego Comic-Con? And are they just trying to kind of like undercut or cut the legs out from San Diego? Because Star Wars Celebration this year, from the second it started, was immense. Especially from, I mean, literally from 10 a.m., day one, that Star Wars, that Force Awakens panel was astounding.
I'm going to pause you before we start talking about 15 and continue on. Well, just to address, I don't know if I believe that ReedPop is trying to undercut CCI.
Yeah.
I think there's absolutely room for two. I think it would have been a nice consideration if they had put a 2-week buffer in. Whether or not they even paid attention to San Diego, I'm not sure. I have to think that somebody did.
Yeah.
You know, so I just wanted to get that in there about
the timing is just a little too coincidental.
Oh, it's brutal. I would have loved to have come and visited with you and the whole UK.
Well, admittedly, there are a number of people I'm seeing that are doing the whole flying over, coming over to Star Wars Celebration, jumping on the plane, and then doing San Diego. I mean, that's pretty much my plan as it's going to be. I'm going to be heading down, I think, for Star Wars Celebration, staying in London for Monday morning, jumping on the plane at Heathrow, over to San Diego. That's my plan anyway. Yeah,
I cannot put if and it makes sense for you guys to do it because you're located next to one of them. If I was next to San Diego or I was next to London, I would do it. But it's the flight over to London, then the flight to San Diego, then the flight home. After just getting off a plane from Japan last week, where my schedule. Jet lag.
It hurts, doesn't it? It hurts.
It was worse than going from LA to England, but as you were saying, 2015.
A couple of things that really jumped out at me when it came to Star Wars Celebration and what ReedPop did with that event. And then I don't know if it was more the fact that they had the infrastructure and the money involved with their collaboration with Star Wars. But the live streaming on YouTube was a masterstroke. It was absolutely stunning. So be able to just turn on YouTube throughout the course of the entire day, 4 days worth of it, to just go on and see stuff, content online, including that entire Star Wars the Force Awakens trailer, panel, and the trailer live as it was happening. It was just incredible. And then that's where I think I'm going to come back to it when we talk a little bit later, because I do want to talk about the channel that CCI has set up with Lionsgate. we'll kind of come back to that. No, I know we're kind of bouncing around, but certainly with Star Wars, that live streaming was just stunning to actually see it. And I think even off the back of the streaming, that's going to get more people excited to actually attend it in person. Because then to actually see it on the screen and go, I want to be there. That's where I want to be. And I think that's where a lot of people, it's kind of things like that. I mean, people talk about streaming as taking away from the event. I think it actually just ramps up the anticipation to actually go and experience that for yourself. I think it was just a brilliant thing.
I have a picture from that Brian Stephenson posted. He's the PR guy from New York, about the control room for, which of course, being the techie that I am, that I'm going to post momentarily over on the Q&A. If I can get the Q&A up. Oh,
well, I'll tell you what. While you're looking for the picture, I'll very quickly go through the Q&A because I know we've got a couple of people watching. Thank you very much indeed for watching live. Once again, do jump in on the hashtag CupOTSDCC if there's any comments you want to do on Twitter if you're watching on YouTube, or if you want to jump in on the Q&A on the Google Plus event. Thank you very much indeed to Michael Leventhal for joining us, watching and setting up for my conference in Austin. Bit of multitasking there. Thank you very much indeed. We've got a couple of comments from Ian O'Hara. Apparently, maybe Dan Berry, who's actually at C2E2. Sorry about that. Getting myself a little bit confused there. But Ian's gotten some good comments and questioning. Apparently, he has said, however, that if we are going to WonderCon next year, we've got a place to stay with him. I think he's talking to myself and Alyssa. If he's talking to everybody who's watching online, it could be a bit crowded at his house, but he's only 40 minutes away from LA. So
I claim the couch.
You claim the couch. I'll bring a tent. I'll stick it outside. We'll be fine. So and he's also saying that he would like to see Marvel Studios in Hall H. It ain't happening. It ain't happening until they turn around and say something different.
Yeah,
it's not happening. What else? Betsy Woodin has joined us. Hello, Betsy. Emails from travel planners. She's received 2 cancellations for a room that had a paid deposit. Ziamara has received cancellations for rooms without a name of credit card information. There does seem to be 1 or 2 issues with hotel reservations, and emails are coming through. If you've received any of these, jump in on the Q&A. Let us know, because let's see if we can talk about that as well. I received a couple of emails because I reserved a room but didn't book it, and I've received an email stating that room may go out, be available because I haven't booked the thing. But people have been getting some very strange emails through from travel planners. It's another element of the whole hotel sale, which is just proven. I mean, I've been talking to several people on Twitter about this, and it just seems to be calamity after calamity. It's just been. I forget
what time they open, but it is Eastern time, and I think I think it may even be at 8 a.m. Eastern time that they open tomorrow morning. And I found that calling right at 8 or at 8:05, you'd probably have not an hour-long wait to speak with somebody and get it sorted.
Okay, let's see what else has been talked about on the Q&A. Charlotte Allen, looking forward to the Walker Stalker Fan Fest and the Walking Dead Escape. Either of you 2 guys going? I'll certainly be popping in and checking it out, because the one thing that is happening at Petco, if you haven't heard, is that you've got the Walker Stalker Fan Fest, and you've also got Nerdist and the Geek and Sundry taking over the first floor up the steps, pretty much taking over the space which Nerd HQ had in 2014. Indeed, the question has come up as well. Has anybody heard any word about Nerd HQ? Nothing. There's been nothing about Nerd HQ. There has actually been rather quiet amount of information coming about Nerdist, apart from the WonderCon announcement that's going to be happening. We're talking 10, 11 weeks away. Hopefully we'll be hearing something very soon about what they've got planned. But I'm kind of hoping that Nerdist and Geek and Sundry do keep some of the model from Nerd HQ to have mini panels. But I think there's a different drive to it, because Nerd HQ was very much a small company set up by Zachary Levi in an attempt to raise the profile of Nerd Machine and also raise money for his charitable contribution. With this event with Nerdist and Geek and Sundry, there's money coming from Legendary, and it's a more commercial enterprise. So maybe it's a slightly different vibe. So who knows? It could be interesting. I personally, people have been asking about Nerd HQ. I don't think it's happening.
Let me just answer the will I be attending the Walker Stalker, all of that sort of thing. I have historically not gotten out of the convention center. I am one of those people. So if somebody wants to walk with me and show me the whole
listen, I am up for that. If I'll hold your hand on, say on Thursday or on Sunday, we'll go across and we'll have a look at it. How's that?
That sounds perfect.
Fine,
just because I don't even, I would probably end up going the long way. The first year I went to con, I went around the wrong way, and I went the long way around the loading docks. So I would probably do that at Petco too. So I need somebody to save me.
Fair enough. No, it's easy enough to get there. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
Returning back to Star Wars Celebration, and this was another thing that was really exciting. This is from Janine Lecaro regarding the VIP tickets for 2016. Admittedly, how many were there? Something like 200, 300 VIP tickets? I think there's only like 200.
For 2016, that's how many tickets they said. I don't know how much for 15, because 15 also included a second lower tier, which did not include access to the same access to panels. Yeah. So it very well could be in the neighborhood of more like 500 for 15 Star Wars.
Fair enough. Well, either way, the VIP tickets for 2016 Star Wars Celebration selling out in, and I know that we've got Janine saying 2 minutes. I actually got a slightly different number than that. 86 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. A $500 ticket selling out in that amount of time. I will say one thing about Repop. Having bought tickets from them, they have a 10-minute window. So if you add it to your cart and you don't complete the sale in 10 minutes, it gets added back in. So just like BlizzCon and all of the other Repop shows, it's worthwhile to F5. Just keep F5ing, especially at that 8 to 9 minute mark.
Not now. They've gone.
They're gone.
They've gone now. It's slightly late now. But yeah, the VIP tickets in a heartbeat. Then again, I mean, from even just looking at the list on the website, what you get for that VIP experience is just amazing. So, oh well.
I have been able to get the VIP tickets for C2E2 a year or two ago, and for New York Comic-Con, and every Repop show I will go for a VIP ticket. Really? Unless it costs $500, then I won't go for it. If it's $200, yes, it's worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to remember how much it was for Star Wars, but I think it was $300.
No, I think it was $500. It was $500.
$500, so about 250 quid.
Yeah, exactly.
Ouch.
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 So.
Yeah. Other things on the docket on the Q&A. This is a very good question. I mean, this is leading on to something that Neil Williamson has said, and I'm going to come back to that. Any word on how to get tickets for Conan in San Diego, held at the Spreckles Theatre, July 8th to 12th? Very good point. There's been no word about that either. It is happening. Conan's got the theatre booked. It's going to be a show of some description, with suspecting it's going to be a delayed recording, so it may be an early evening show, very delayed cut, and then broadcast on air. But at this point, nobody knows anything. I mean, 2.5 weeks out, everyone has been remarkably quiet about details. Obviously, the only thing we have heard has been regarding Marvel Studios, and that kind of came out of the blue from the James Gunn Q&A. But no one is saying a thing. Neil Williamson said on the UK group that usually at this point, 10 weeks out, we're getting loads of information. We're getting lots of anticipation going. And it's just seeming like it's being held very much to the last second. What do you think?
Is the Conan thing going to happen in that there isn't there a like a 2,000 seat theater or a 200? So it's got to be happening there. I mean, it'd be worth. Don't they usually sell the tickets themselves? So it would be worth just haunting that site. You know, I would probably set up some sort of it changed alert notification.
Yeah. But I think the thing that's is freaking everyone out is the fact that the tickets aren't being sold yet and no details are being announced.
Right.
So it's just the fact that we've got no information to go on at this point at 10 weeks.
But they know that it's going to sell out.
Yeah.
I mean, they could put it on sale the week beforehand. Nobody is making hard and firm plans at this point. So, I mean, if they were to put it out now and people were to build their schedules around it without knowing what's happening at San Diego, I don't know. I can understand there's no hurry on their part to put it out because, I understand why why people are wanting more information, but it's all going to happen and it's all going to be wonderful. And
you eternal optimist, you.
Well, I keep coming back to the Brigadoon. It will appear and magically disappear 5 days later, and it's just the way it is, and it will be fabulous.
SDCC Brigadoon. I'm creating the hashtag right now. That is.
I cannot take the credit for that. That actually is a direct quote from David Glanzer as the Brigadoon. And if people are not familiar, that's from a movie whose name is escaping me. Maybe it's Brigadoon.
It was Brigadoon. No, it was Brigadoon.
Yep, from the 50s.
Yeah.
A musical, which I hate, but there you go. It's sorry.
Never mind. Okay, let's see what else.
Before we get off Star Wars 15, it is worth noting that there was some problems with ReedPop, and I've noticed this before, and that has to do with the store.
Now, this has been pointed out by Janine. Absolutely. So,
yes.
What was the issues?
My understanding, and there's a few people who I'm sure could talk to this more, was that a combination of volunteer cashiers who didn't really know the system, SKUs not being able to be found, multiple lines funneling down into one spot, just accumulation of errors and people wanting to buy armfuls of stuff and not being able to. People would have bought a lot more stuff if they had been able to get through the line without it being massively long. I know that I went through a booth that was managed by the ReedPop people for the Marvel stuff during New York Con in 14, and I certainly got the same feeling of, this is simple. I want to buy 5 items. This is not rocket science. Ring me up, take my card, let me go. It took me probably at least 40 minutes at the cashiers. This was after I had waited in line to buy those 5 items. It should not take that long. It shouldn't. So I suspect that they're talking about the similar kind of problems at Star Wars. And I'm hoping that ReedPop gets this together. They need to.
Was this something that happened over the course of the entire weekend as well, or was it just one day? Or
I believe it was the whole weekend.
Wow.
From what people are saying on the forum, and there's a thread about it.
Yeah,
There's always a thread.
There's always a thread. I mean, if there's one thing that CCI have kind of, they kind of knew that is an issue, and they, in removing it from the exhibition floor, I think that was one of the best moves they ever did over the last couple of years. So
pre-orders.
Yeah, and pre-orders, absolutely. Okay, let's see. Janine is saying, believe it or not, the lines seemed worse on Sunday than they were on Saturday during Star Wars Celebration. But I will definitely go again. It was a blast. From what we saw on the stream as well. I mean, even here in the UK, because I have a part-time job where I work in a shop, and thankfully the footfall in the final couple of hours of the day is minimal. So I was able to kind of have the laptop and watch the stream, and it happened at 6 o'clock, which is in the 6 o'clock in the evening here in the UK. Which means once the shop shut at 6, I was watching the stream, and the timing was really, really, really cool. But it also meant that I very nearly got locked inside the industrial complex because I was too busy watching the stream for Star Wars Celebration. That's how it was just amazing. So I think that's the live stream.
Yeah.
Now then, which leads on to a piece of news that got announced 2 weeks ago, which I do not understand why more people aren't talking about this. This, I think, is exciting stuff. And it is the deal that's going to be happening with CCI, with Lionsgate, to produce a on-demand channel for Comic-Con content. This is brilliant. This is where we finally have Comic-Con 24 hours a day, 48 hours, 52 weeks of the year. And we get to, I think it's brilliant.
I did not understand that it was in conjunction with CCI.
Yes,
I thought it was
channel.
For CCI.
Yep, it's official.
Comic-Con International.
Yep.
That's interesting because what CCI has always said in the past is that they didn't want to do that because it lost the specialness of attending the panel.
Yeah.
And that's, so it's going to be really and that's what they've said about the hosting the overflow panels in the hotels.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, what they're saying is that the channel is going to have Comic-Con content available on demand. It's not said anything about live streaming yet. This is something that I'm desperately hoping that they'll actually introduce, or at least panel recaps. But if you've ever been to a panel at Comic-Con, you know that the cameras are there. In pretty much most of they have got yards of content at their disposal, which they could show Jim Lee panels on a rotating channel quite happily. There's plenty of content that they've got, but they're also talking about Lionsgate films. They're talking Lionsgate content. It's going to be a definite a collaboration between the two, but an actual Comic-Con channel. I think it's exciting stuff, and I'm stunned that more people aren't talking about it.
I would love it if they were able to get from all different cons. Like somebody had mentioned Emerald City Con, which I didn't include in the spring cons, and I absolutely should have. But if they could get content from Emerald City and C2 and Star Wars and all of them, that would be brilliant. And I
just suspect that what they've done is they've watched the launch of Con TV and just gone, it's good. It's close, but it's not quite there. You know what? I think we can do better. Boom. And that's what they've launched. I think it's exciting stuff. Let's see, because we have had one or two comments coming up on the Q&A. And this is certainly regarding, obviously, I think it's still going to be one of the big topics of conversation, which is, of course, Nerd HQ. Now, this was a comment from Karma Savage. Hello, Karma. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. There is still hope. This was posted by a Friends of CCI member. Ari will Nerd HQ happen in 2015. During the Conman Hangout this evening, the producer, PJ Hararama, they mentioned Comic-Con and they mentioned Nerd HQ again. No specifics, but there are broadcasts planned soon. And I also noticed another comment as well, saying that 2 weeks ago there was a comment on the Nerd Machine Facebook that things were under discussion. So I think they're still planning it, but I just think that what they're going to be doing is scaling it all the way back. I think their ambitions at Petco were just too much. I think it cost. I mean, when people talk about Comic-Con using Petco, I don't think they can afford it. I think there's just too much money in Petco, and they know that they've got a venue which people will pay through the nose to use.
Yeah, that I don't think that hadn't come up when it's been approached at the talkback panels that I've attended. The reasons why they've said is primarily because the one that sticks out in my mind is that they're worried about their fans and having all of us nerds out in the sun for the San Diego sun for hours. And I know how bad even waiting for the Lego minifigs were last year. A friend of mine got heat stroke because of it. So that would be my major concern if I were Comic-Con, is the fans. But
I think it's also just the fact that, I mean, I had a delightful argument with someone on Twitter about the amount of money that flows through Comic-Con's coffers. It's a non-profit. It has always said that it's a non-profit, and the money absolutely goes into maintaining Comic-Con. Because if you've seen that it's now exploded beyond the convention center, that takes cash, and that's where your ticket prices, that's where your ticket money's going. So if you do the math and look at just what gets used, I mean, hiring the ballroom for the Eisners, that ain't going to be cheap. The production team behind it, that ain't going to be cheap. It all adds up. So I think we get a good deal for our ticket price. I think we do all right.
Compared to other cons, it's a bargain.
Yeah. So I think the whole thing at Petco, because at the end of the day, Nerdist and Geek and Sundry have got a dump truck of cash from Legendary in store. It's a financial thing, and I think they've got the money to do it. Let's see what else. I mean, let's talk about.
Can I talk about my Japan vacation?
Go for it. Your turn. You talk.
So I went to an area in Japan, which I also, one of my forum members went to, and it's called Akihabara. I'm probably saying that wrong. It was an amazing, it was the electronics area that people always talk about going to Japan. I've just posted a few pictures on the forum, and we'll post a link to it. Some of the highlights for me were a bedazzled Transformer, Optimus Prime. I mean, who doesn't want to see, a 3-foot bedazzled Optimus Prime? I go out of my way for that. That was amazing. Just the rows and rows and boxes of vinyl toys and toys. I've got a video up in this thread that should be uploaded by this point. Which just walks through a very, very small, it's seven floors in each of these buildings, and at least 3 of the floors are devoted towards anime and vinyl figures. Wow. And you could just numb with all of this input. And I'm not a big vinyl fan, so it was kind of a little unfortunate. If you ever get a chance to go to the shopping electronics mecca in Japan, Tokyo, absolutely do it. And I'm going to post the pictures because that's what I do.
I'd love to see them, because I mean, yeah, you've seen it on music videos, and you've seen it on on television programs, and you do see all this. And not only that, but I also like seeing all the copycat technology as well. Kind of
right. Oh, absolutely. it was amazing to me, just the overwhelming. I took my parents there after we had been to a museum. I said, and now for something completely different. We don't have to stay. And we got off the thing, and you're looking up at 7-foot buildings with anime characters and lights and flashing, and Times Square multiplied in terms of neon by, you know, probably a factor of at least, you know, tenfold. And my dad is wandering off into the crowds with his cane. I'm going, Dad, this is the same one who said, I can't talk now. I'm busy in a panel. So,
you don't know your parents at all, do you?
No, I do, but they're artists. They're not. I didn't think they'd be so interested in the pop culture. So that was one of the highlights for me in Japan. I do want to announce I do want to say that plans are afoot to add another area to the forum. That's going to, but I'll hopefully have more to announce on that next week.
Now, this is something that Alyssa has been talking to me behind the scenes about. This she can't reveal too much so far, but trust me, it's big stuff. So
it will be a soft when it happens. It will be a soft open. So not much announcements are going to be happening about it. I'll mention it here, but that's probably about it. So keep your eyes tuned. Parking.
I'll tell you when she's not looking. when she's not looking.
No. Parking is going on sale tomorrow.
What's that?
Parking is going on sale tomorrow.
Indeed.
We're starting the parking thing. By all reports, the vendors who have already and staff who've already gone through the system say it's working well. It should be working well after last year.
Yeah. The moment when it comes to Comic-Con, the moment anyone turns around and says, our plans are going fantastically.
And last but not least, for news on the forum, we have the 2014 lanyards. 15.
Nice.
Right, sorry. So we have, this is the thing, and I don't know if you could catch all the blood spatter as contributing from one of my forum members. That was
she didn't kill a printer to get that out of somebody's hands. That's not how it works. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, if you're gonna showcase that, I'm gonna do my little showcase, because my turn. I am part of the San Diego Comic-Con UK attendees group, and this is where I'm gonna have to do a little bit of thing which I don't usually do, which is screen share. But let's see if this works. No, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. This is this could either work or it won't. Oh, look at that! There we go. A bit of yeah. I want to.
Oh, there that.
No. I'm not showing you that. I'm not showing you that. I am showing you this, however. Let's see if this comes up. This.
That looks cool.
Right. What I'm showing right now is an exclusive commission which we had by Ian Churchill, who's the artist behind Jonathan Ross's Revenge. He's got his own stuff, Marine Man, which is just stunning, a great book, fantastic UK artist. And what he's done is, on request of the UK forum, the UK group, sorry, we asked for a UK character, and it was voted that could we please have Gandalf, or Ian McKellen as Gandalf, and he's done this absolutely stunning piece of artwork for us. It's a fantastic piece of Gandalf art inside the Comic-Con logo, and if you do see that on a T-shirt, that means it's been worn more than likely by a Brit. So let me see if I can just hide that and just yeah, there we go. So at least you can see that a bit better. Yeah, if you spot a very sunburnt person looking slightly out of their depth and wearing this as on their T-shirt,
who's probably hungover.
Possibly hungover, but I'm not saying anything about the Brits for that. That would be a bit mean. But there we go. So there we go. That's the logo, and I'm rather pleased and proud of it. If you do want to find out more about the UK group, do head to Facebook and search for SDCC UK Attendees Group. We're pretty easy to find. So let me just, oh, hang on a second. I'm going to turn the, no, I'm going to stop that because it's kind of whole, yeah, there we go.
There you are.
We have the whole of mirrors there for a second.
That is stunning art.
I'm very happy with Ian doing that. It's a great piece of work for us.
Did you get the original?
No. Yeah, I'll tell you quickly about that because I was going to ask Ian if we could get the original either for my own personal collection.
Yes.
Rather cheeky, or we donate it to something. What Ian actually said was, I want to try and raise some money for a charity which provides awareness of comics with kids in schools, in libraries. It's a fantastic charity that he's involved in. And what we do is, in the UK group, we then said, okay, we go to an auction. Who wants the highest bid on this piece of artwork? And we raised 300 quid.
Nice.
And it's been sent off to one of our group members, and they're rather happy with it. And so brilliant. Okay, let's I think we've talked enough. I mean, obviously there's a number of topics that we are going to be covering over the next couple of weeks. Nerd HQ, all the stuff that's happening at Petco is going to be obviously of big interest, and also the offsite, which is where we're going to be covering offsite in about 3 weeks' time. What we're going to be doing, and I think this is actually news to Alyssa as well, so
yes,
here we go. We've got 10 weeks. What we're going to be doing, certainly on alternate weeks, starting on May the 10th, is SDCC Toolkit. This is for people who maybe not familiar with San Diego. Maybe this is your first time going to Comic-Con, or maybe you just want to, we're going to try and do a bit of a 101 on certain topics regarding Comic-Con, including Hall H and Ballroom 20, outside of San Diego, so the off-site and things you can find outside of the convention center, collectibles, and Artist Alley. So those are certainly 4 that we're going to do. The SDCC toolkits, which are going to be in our alternate weeks, starting from May the 10th. So that's the 10th, May the 24th, June the 7th, and June the 21st. So do put those in your calendar. We're going to get special guests involved to talk about those particular topics. Good. And certainly, I mean, I know that we've got a couple of people who are not going, who have never been to Comic-Con, and they want to find out, say, how Hall H works. What is Hall H? I mean, I've actually had people asking, what is Hall H? So
absolutely.
There we go. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be having guests that we've already got 1 or 2 confirmations. 1 or 2 people have been asking about the Funko guest. That's still happening. That's still happening. Damn it, it's still happening. Indeed, somebody, Bradley, hello Bradley, this is MDLA from the boards, asking any word on Funko and whether they'll go for a ticket system this year. It's one of the questions I'm going to be asking, so don't worry, it's on the docket. So there we go. Right, other things, let's see what other things we could talk about. I think that's pretty much us. Anything anything more from the forum?
Loved the Marvel box that came this week. Speaking of Funko, the Hulkbuster is heavy. I was
going to say I've actually ordered one and had it delivered to yourself. I'm going to be picking up in San Diego. Yes. Do you want to do a box open?
It will take me probably about 30 seconds to get your box. If you want me to, I'll go get it and open it up for you.
Right.
Here's a question. Can you talk for 30 seconds?
Silly bloody question, quite frankly. Tell you what then, okay, listen guys, you've got Cup OT SDCC or up on the Q&A. Do you want to see an unboxing of the Funko Collector Core? You've got 10 seconds.
Okay, I'm going to go.
You've got 10 seconds whether you want to see this. Come on. Englishman SDCC directly at me or using Cup OT SDCC. Do you want to see an unboxing of the Collector Core? Which, by the way, from what I've heard, is absolutely stunning. Have you got it? Have you ordered it? Are you taking part in the Collector Core? Because I think it's a stunning piece of Marvel merchandise. And like we say, we are talking about Funko. We've got one or two people jumping in on the Q&A. Apparently, Hall H is a secret. Okay, well, it's there. So tell you what, we've got 5 minutes. Let's do an unboxing of the Collector Core. This is my collector. This is my Collector Core. So be careful.
Leonard gets to see his box.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. Do you want to rephrase that?
Sorry. I can do that. I walk into those easy. Yeah. Okay. So the box is actually being opened. And
lovely. Oh, right. Okay. So we've got two things there on the top. So what we got?
And the first thing you notice is the pin,
which is an old school Jack Kirby Captain America.
Yeah. And then the second thing that comes out is the patch,
which is Ultron.
Collector's Court.
Of course.
Yes, absolutely. And those are stuck on, so they will fall off. They regularly do.
Of course.
So I don't want to lose those for you. And then as you open the box,
okay,
the first thing you notice is
very, very large Hulkbuster Funko.
Oh, I mean, this thing is huge. Just for perspective, I mean, it's probably about 8 inches tall, and it's heavy.
Wow.
So, I'm having a hard time here. Obviously, I'm not good at the unboxing things.
Okay.
Do you want me to open your vinyl?
No, but we will. We'll look at the box. All right, so there's a Ultron Dorbs vinyl figure, which is an exclusive. I've actually seen that particular figure. I like the fact that Ultron looks like he's grinning.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, I know that you showed me your easy tiger, dropping my Collector Core stuff. Now, I know. I do know that I know that it's supposed to be kind of like a mystery box figure in there, but from everyone I've seen, it is the Ultron box. Oh, it's the Ultron figure. So.
It is. And I've got one that came in my box, which I already opened and couldn't do that. So, where's the camera? There's the camera.
Hey, Ultron. He looks like he's grinning. And he's got a mouthful of Jello. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you get so here's the Hulkbuster, and let me not drop this.
Yeah.
It's
huge. It's
massive. I mean, it gives you an idea. My fingers there give you an idea about, and it probably weighs a good pound.
Good grief.
You know, or
Excellent.
2. Yeah. Or
sorry, this is me rubbing my hands. Can you tell?
Absolutely. Your T-shirt. I've heard that there are 4 different T-shirts.
Oh, right. Okay.
Different. They're all this gray with the same pattern on it, with the Avengers.
It's like an Avengers old school fight poster. Oh, okay.
Yeah. The difference is you on this side right here, and you can't quite see that. You've got Ultron, and on this side, the difference is who you're fighting.
Ah, okay.
And the one you're fighting is Thor. I think I've got Captain America.
Oh, right, okay.
Yours is an XL, mine's a large. Who knows?
That's because I'm fat.
Did I? I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that.
Thank you.
Sorry. And then there's a comic, the last bit, and that's the one, of course, that I'm going to be the most delicate with because I'm the comic collector.
Which is the Guardians Team Up Avengers Variant 1, which is, oh, absolutely stunning. Falcon on the front, the female Thor. Oh, wow. Excellent. I'm looking forward to looking at that.
Now that it's open, I'll put it in a bag and board for you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
Brilliant. So yeah, I mean, we had one or two people jumping in. Show it. So yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, obviously the Hulkbuster is the big headline for that, but there's loads of stuff in there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with future ones. I am hoping, because they have turned around and said that they'll be able to present something when they do show up and talk to us. So. Who knows? We may even have some prizes up for grabs in future between now and Comic-Con. We are having Funko joining us, so there we go. Right, I think that's pretty much us, I suppose.
One quick thing to add with regards to the Marvel collector boxes is that we opened ours, and Lewis's. I just ordered a second one, so they're still available. If you want it. Don't pay eBay prices for any of this stuff. Just go order it for $32 some odd.
So there you go.
And you get the whole box.
About 20 quid, and I think that Hulkbuster is. I mean, that Hulkbuster is, and it's an exclusive as well. So it's not even in the shops. It'd be 15, 20 pounds. So. No, yeah, get it. So, excellent.
This is a good one.
Cool.
Next month is Ant-Man, or next 2 months is Ant-Man.
So I'm fully expecting a very small Funko. Like yay small.
No. Yeah, man.
What I don't know what anyone thought of the trailer. I was like, yeah. It's all right.
I like Ant-Man.
I
like
know
Ant-Man.
You do. I know you do.
Okay.
There we go.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Don't make fun of my Ant-Man.
I'm not making fun of your Ant-Man. I'll make fun of your Ant-Man movie. This is different. Yeah. When a superhero gets laid low by Thomas the Tank Engine, you know you're in trouble. Here we go.
You're not the first person who's made fun of my taste and stuff. That's for sure.
Hey, listen. This is what we go to Comic-Con for. We're to bond together. So we strength in numbers. So there we go. Right. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. We're going to put the audio version of this up on iTunes very shortly indeed. Do please subscribe and comment on the iTunes podcast version, because it does raise the profile within iTunes podcast and lets more people know about it. And that's what it's all about. Let's get everyone talking about Comic-Con with 10 weeks to go. So there we go.
I thought you said 11.
Oh, this is week 11. There's 11 hangouts.
Oh, okay.
10.
Okay.
10, yeah, it works out. So there we go. So once again, thank you very much indeed for joining us, Alyssa.
Thank you for hosting it, Leonard.
Excellent. Back again next week, as always, Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, and 6 o'clock in the evening here in the UK. Every single Sunday between now and Comic-Con 2015. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. We've got special guests next week. I'm really looking forward to announcing who it's going to be. So lots of exciting things happening over the next 10 cup of tea. Talking Comic-Con here on a Sunday. Do take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.